But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
The Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.
Hello everyone, and peace of Christ all of you. Please invite your friends and let us have some good time together. Halal fun. One of you sent me an email saying that Muslims, they keep flooding Facebook saying that your God is the Bible. In the Bible he is a baby killer. Always I'm not trying to put the Christians down, but I'm trying to put them in their place. When I say the Christian, I'm saying generally speaking. If we know that our book, if we Christians, we read our books, then those Abduls, they have no place to make you do not know what to say. So the weakness is not in them, the weakness is in you. Why you want to blame them for saying to you what you cannot answer them because you don't read your books? As simple as that. So we don't read our books, and then we complain about cults like Muhammadan cults attacking our book, which means they are using our ignorance. There is people are many different kinds. There is a stupid one, there's the ignorant, and there's the one who loves to be stupid. Which one of them is you? So if you are the ignorant, then you need to read. Otherwise, nobody can make fun of you. And nobody can say something you cannot answer. And not only that, you can flip the table on them, as we will do right now, and you will see. But I learned that it doesn't matter really how many times we teach people. They watch videos just to laugh. It's a comedy. Ha ha ha, Muhammadan are stupid. Ha 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 ha. And then we forgot everything we said. And the proof? You don't know what to answer them after what we will say today. Still, you don't know what to say. Because you are not watching to learn. You are watching for comedy time. Halal fun. And we are not here for comedy. But for sure, few of you will learn. The rest will stay dummies. So let us teach the few, and the dummies, may the Lord have mercy on them. So when a Muhammadan, he come to you and he speak about the baby killer, he always mention the story in the book of Samuel. Samuel 1st, verse or chapter number 15. This is my simple advice to anyone who claims to be Christian. You see, because there's many of us, we claim to be Christians, but we do not know anything about our book. So how you can be Christian? You are not. When somebody says to you something, tell him where you are talking about, and then you go and read the chapter or read the whole story. It will take you a few seconds to get the answer of what they are claiming. Few seconds. So they say to you in chapter 15 in 1 Samuel, now go submit the Amalek or the Amalek and destroy all of them and kill everybody. Kill the men, kill the women, kill the infant, kill even the camel, the donkey, the horse, the cow, whatever they have. You see what it says here? Then you should ask the Muslim, do you believe in the Quran? They will say, yeah. Did your God in the Quran kill all the children at that time, in the time of Noah? Huh? What? Okay, do you believe in the Quran? Yeah. Is it true that the Quran says that the Jews, their enemies, were slaughtering their children? Chapter 2, verse number 49. Yeah. And is it true that your God Allah, he sent 7 punishment on the people of Pharaoh, and of them is killing their children? Yeah. Okay, let us continue. Is it true that you believe in the Quran? Yeah. And then the Quran teach in chapter 18 that Allah, he ordered his prophet Al-Khadr to slaughter a little boy so he can teach Moses a lesson? Yeah. Okay. Is it true? In chapter 71, verse number 26, that Noah, he asked Allah not to leave anyone, even their children, because what kind of children they will have in the future, huh? Chapter 71, verse 26, and Noah said to Allah, "O my Allah, leave not the unbelievers, a single one on earth. For if thou dost leave any of them, they will be but mislead and devotees. They will breed none but wicked and ungrateful ones." So here you see the Muslims, they are preaching and teaching that killing children is okay. What about Sodom and Gomorrah? Do you believe in it? Yeah. What Allah did to them? What about the people of Thamud? Did Allah kill everybody? Yeah. Okay. I mean, we can go endless stories. There's the stories in the Quran we never heard of, actually. You know? There's a story in the Quran we never heard of. And Allah, he killed them with no mercy, every one of them, to the point nobody exists until now. So why the Muslims are complaining about the book of Samuel? And not only that, the story go more complicated if we find that the story of Samuel is in the stupid Quran. We go to chapter 2 in the Quran, the book of Muta, and then we go to verse number 246 and 247, etc. We will find that this is a chapter here speaking about such a beautiful king and such a beautiful prophet, and they are mujahideen for Allah. And not only that, Muslims, they have tons of videos speaking about how wonderful Samuel is. And by the way, they have a wrong name for him as usual. So this is the Quran, the yellow pages of Muhammad, which is what's wrong with this page here? Which is Borat. He said, I have a yellow pages, have no contradiction, you know, and it's in Arabic. And for sure he was right. He said it has no contradiction. The Quran full of contradiction. So we go here, 246. Sorry if I make your eyes blind. Like, hold on. This page, keep it flipping. So we don't hurt your eyes. We will find the story of Samuel in the Quran, as we will see in a second. Here we go. Allah is ordering the Jews to kill their enemies. And he is saying, don't you see that those who've been kicked out of their land, don't you see thousands and thousands for the fear of death? Don't you see? Fight for the cause of Allah. And know that Allah heard and knows everything, all things. And then here, you know, very funny. Allah is begging for money again. I don't know what this verse have to do with the verses before it. Muhammad, he insert begging for money. He's a YouTuber, you know, like Mimi and Susu and Dudu. Hey, please make donation, guys, make donation. This verse here have nothing to do with the story. وَمَنْ يَقْرِضُ اللَّهُ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا. Who is going to give Allah a beautiful loan? You know, Allah here is practicing Mimi hijab technology. Buy the necklace seed, make a donation. I don't know what this is verse have to do with the verse before it and the verse after it. And then he continue. Has thou not turned the vision of the chief of the children of Israel after the time of Moses? They said to a prophet that was among them, appoint to us. Who is this prophet? This is Samuel. Muslim, they call him Samuel, by the way. Not Samuel. They have their own way to say things. So, they said to Samuel, appoint for us a king so we can assault the enemies. Now, here, as usual, the Quran is a stupid book, so there is nothing really there. How we understand what happened exactly, you know? We go to the interpretation, and then we will see that those people who the Jews they are fighting, they kill their children. They separate them from their land. They took their women. Actually, it says here in front of you. How could we refuse to fight? This is the Jews, they are saying to their prophet Samuel. How we refuse to fight in the cause of Allah, seeing that we turned out of our homes and our families when they were commanded to fight. And by the way, translation here is not accurate. The word family here does not exist. It says abna'una, our children. You change the translator, depending who is the donkey who is translating. I think Muslims, they don't translate really. They take hashish and translate their Quran, because they insert words we cannot find even where they are coming from. All right. Do you see the word children? Do you see? We just change the translator. Suddenly the word children is there. And suddenly there's a bracket says family have been taken as captive. And then if we go and read the interpretation, we will find that there is no women left. the enemies killed everybody, etc. And we can go and we can choose any interpretation the Muhammadan they like. Any interpretation they like. Let's show you. Isn't it funny? Not only that, actually, there's videos in YouTube made about these stories by Muslims about how bad the Jews, because they refuse to go and kill their enemies. Mufti Mink. I mean, do you see the hypocrisy of those people? Between their walls, they praise this person and they condemn the Jews for refusing killing the enemies. And then when they go to you to speak to you in Facebook, they say your God is a baby killer, okay? Your God is a baby killer. Do you know that your God is a baby killer? You don't know that, huh? And the reason they said that to you, because they knew that you are just an ignorant person. You do not know your book, you do not know their book, which is making you double fool. Double fool. Islam flourish only between foolish people. So this is the Muhammadan, and this is Mufti Mink telling you about the Prophet Samuel.
Belongs to them, and if they had it, it was only for pockets of time. So now what had happened, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Nabi, who is Samuel, may peace be upon him, tells his people, هل عسيتم إن كتب عليكم القتال ألا تقاتلوا. He knows how difficult these people were. He says, there is a possibility and a chance that you people, if fighting is written for you, you might not even fight. That's what you did to the Prophet Moses before. May peace be upon Musa alayhi.
Fighting is written for you. It's a destiny. So in their videos, they praise the Prophet, who they are condemning him in Facebook or in little stupid videos by YouTubers. Do you see the double standard? Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see the stupidity? But as I said, this religion only flourish between the foolish ones of us, because you do not know what to say. You are an ignorant who claim to be Christian, or you claim to be a Jew, but you do not know anything about your book. And in the top of that, you know nothing about their books. So why they will not make fun of you? If you know, then you will be able to make fun of their book, because now by accusing us of doing something, and then we find that they are the one who is doing it, that will make it double funny and stupid of them. This is the interpretation of the chapter 2. And this is Tafsir al-Muyassar. It says here, why we will not fight the enemies? وأي مانع يمنعنا عن القتال في سبيل الله وقد أخرجنا عدونا من ديارنا وأبعدنا عن أولادنا بالقتل. And he separated us from our children by killing them or capture. This is Tafsir al-Muyassar. This is Tafsir al-Sa'di. The same. They said, why we will not fight them and kill them, and they are the one who kicked us away from our land. And here it says, وَسُبِيَتْ ذَرَارِينَ, and they took our children. At-Tantawi, Tafsir at-Tantawi, the same thing. Why we will not kill them with bravery and patience? And what is the reason? Because they killed us, they took our land, they took our women, they killed our children, and we have to fight back. So all those interpretation, Ibn Kathir, Al-Qurtubi, Al-Tabari, Al-Jalalain, this is Al-Baghawi, the master of Ibn Kathir. Long interpretation. Here it says that the giant, Al-Amalika, they have a victory over the children of Israel, and they took most of their land, and they took a lot of their women and their children, and even from the children of their kings, and they forced them to pay jizya, and they took the Torah from them, and the children of Israel, they suffer a lot because of them. And then the children's of the prophets, or from the prophethood, this is what happened after this war, that they killed everybody except there's only one woman who was carrying a child. She gave delivery to him later, who is left. Just one. So they put her in her house, and they jail her, and supposedly this is the Jews doing that, because they were afraid that the baby will be born, will be replaced by someone else. When she gave birth to a child. His name is Ishmael. All of those names are not, they are fake names, Muslim, because they do not know how to repeat the Jewish names. They come with funny names. So his name is Ishmael. And then he learned the Torah. And then the story continues about how Allah, he said to them, Ib'ath lana malikan nuqatilu fi sabilillah. You know, make for us a king so we can kill for the sake of Allah. And then here the interpretation continue. And it says exactly as in the Quran, وَقَدْ أُخْرِجْنَا مِنْ دِيَارِنَا وَأَبْنَائِنَا. And we are kicked out of our land, and they took our children by either killing them or capturing them. So all this here is condemning the Jews for refusing to kill. Can you believe it? If you go and watch this video here, you will see that there's Mufti Mink and there's an Indian boy speaking there, or Pakistani, Aman, Rabbi Aman. He's speaking about, you know, how bad the Jews, they refuse the command of Allah to do jihad and to kill the enemies. And this is the title of the video. Can you believe how hypocrite they are? This is the official government website of the Kingdom of Jordan, which is not really a kingdom. This is a CIA kingdom. All of us, we knew. And this is a chapter 2, and we will show you the interpretation, and you will die laughing. So the religion who is making fun of the book of Samuel is the religion who defends Samuel and say that Samuel was a great man and he ordered the right thing, and the Jews, they were bad because they refused to kill. And this is the same with the stories of Moses. But as we said, the Muslims, the Muhammadan, the black stone kissers, they play with your ignorance. You are an ignorant, so you are a target. And when you are ignorant, everybody will make fun of you. Everybody. Let us switch to English, so at least you can read something useful. Read carefully. The Jews, they said, why we should not fight in God, like for the sake of Allah, in God, in Allah way, when we have been expelled from our habitation and our children's, as a result, this letter being taken captive or killed. That which they suffered at the hands of Goliath and his men. So if the enemy is killing your children's, bringing disaster to your families, to your land, now the Muslims in Facebook, they say to you, what kind of God? He says, kill your children's. Well, they killed their children's. And you will notice, actually, the Jews, they did not kill the children's of the giant. They did not. We go to Samuel. Go to the end of the chapter. You will find here in verse number 33, or you can read it from before, where Samuel, he was saying to the king, why you did not obey the order of God? What this guy he did, he killed some of his enemies, he have some victory, but he did not obey the order of the command of the Lord. And he took a booty, when the Lord, he says, you don't take a booty. This is not a war about booty. You don't take any booty. You don't take any money. You don't take any jewelries. You don't take any women. You don't take any children. You don't take anything. You don't even take a cow for your own. He disobeyed the order of the Lord. And then when this guy, he said to him, well, you know, I can give some sacrifice to the Lord because I disobey. And then Samuel, he says, what God will do with sacrifice? You think God, he is going to be delight in burnt offering and sacrifice as in obeying the voice of the Lord? So this guy, he did not kill. This guy, he did not slaughter. This guy, he did not do. And actually, this is what the Muslims, they talk about. But they speak about it in the opposite way. They make it that the Jews are the bad ones. The king was good. It was the Jews who refused to kill, not the king. And the Muslims, they speak against the Jews that because they refuse to kill, they are bad people. So in Facebook, they make fun of your God, or saying kill women and children. In their book, they say they make fun of the Jews for refusing killing women and children and killing the enemies. And then there we will find in verse number 33, Samuel, after he was condemned by the king, after he was condemned by Samuel, the king, he brought the person, the king of the giant, as the Quran called them, or the Muslim called them. And he said to him, and here's Samuel said, as their sword has made women childless, they killed their babies. It was the enemy who killed the babies of the Jews. So shall the mother be childless, which means the mother of this king. But he's not a child. He's a king. He is the leader. He is the criminal. He is the killer. So the same as you made, our women have no children. Your mother, she will have none. So when a silly Abdul, he make fun of you, be ready, have notes. I don't know how many of you will take notes. I'm sure maybe 2 or 3, and the rest are just playing with their nose. And what about Islam killing children? This is Muhammad attacking the Jews. Muhammad, he don't like to kill women because women are property and money and sex. And this is the reason actually his men are fighting. This is why Muhammad, he said, attack the Romans so we can get the blonde girls. So if we want to kill the blonde girls, why do we want to go for war? اغزوا الروم اغزوا تبوك تغنموا بنات الأصفر. Attack Tabuk, you will get the blonde girls. Can you believe it? So the Muhammadan, they say, well, we are, we don't kill women, we rape them. Well, death is better. Attack the Romans so he can get the blonde girls. And here we go. We say nothing from our pocket. This is their own interpretation. And this exists in 90% of the Islamic interpretation. Ad-Durr al-Manthur. Attack the Romans so we can get the blonde girls. One of the Muhammadan, he said to him, Muhammad, don't tempt us by women, man. Shame on you. A decency man. He said to him, why you are saying such a thing? You want us to go to war just to get the blondie women? The Prophet, may Allah pray for him, not to him, he said, invade the Roman and take the spoil of the daughters of Banu al-Asfar. Asfar is a yellow. So Muslims, they call the blonde yellow, which is very funny. Attack the Roman. The messenger, he said, and take the daughter of the yellow. This is the purpose of the wars of Muhammad. So when they don't kill women, because they want to rape them. When Muhammad attacked Bani Qurayza, they ordered the boys to take off their clothes to be naked. And anyone have little hair around his pubic area, he was slaughtered. This is a Jewish guy, and by the way, if they capture you as a boy, you are immediately a Muslim for them, which means you cannot choose your religion later. Even you are a slave, you are a Muslim, that's it. But if you have little hair around your private part, the Prophet of Allah will kill you. Little hair. And in case you do not know, that means children's. Because we Middle Eastern, we have hair in a very early age. Actually, there is a website here, I searched in Israel website, and this has nothing to do with Islam, This is just a, a scientific study about the age when hair for Israelis start to grow. And it starts from the age of 8. From the age of 8. So at the age of 8, if you are 8 years old, you are dead. The Muhammadan will slaughter you. And this is what they did to Bani Qurayza. And when the Muslims, they claim, you see here, we are reading history from the books of the Muslims. But remember, this is the Muslim writing history about themselves. They will not say anything bad. This is a history written by the Muslims. We should know. We wish we can get the history written by the Jews, but he killed them all. What Jews? There's a single Jew exists now in the Arabian Peninsula. Is that because of the mercy of the Muslims and because they don't kill children, or because they kill children? 0 Christian, 0 Jews, 0 from any religion, because Islam is very tolerant and they don't kill children and babies. A woman, she was making fun of Muhammad, and she is a black slave. A blind man, he had a slave mother, who used to abuse the Prophet, and this purged him. He forbid her, but she do not stop. He rebuked her, but she do not give up her habit. He made fun of the scam Muhammad. One night she began to slander the Prophet and abuse him. So he took a dagger and he placed it on her belly. Where? In her belly. And he pressed it in. And he killed her. Her child who came between her legs was smeared with the blood of that woman. Imagine the image. There's a woman, her child is holding her leg while the master is killing her for insulting Muhammad. He was showered by the blood. In the morning, they told Muhammad that somebody killed somebody. So Muhammad, he said, let us do justice. Let us do justice. He assembled the people and he said, I adjure by Allah, the man who has done his action, I adjure him by my right. Muhammad have right of them, that's it. You know, Allah sent him, he have right. He should stand. Jumping over the necks of the people, the trembling man stood up, the blind man. And he said before Allah Messenger, the scam Muhammad, and he said, O Messenger of Allah, I am her master. She used to abuse you and disparage you. I forbid her, but she did not stop. And I rebuked her, but she did not abandon her habit. I have 2 sons like pearls from her, and she was my companion. Last night she began to abuse and disparage you. So I took a dagger and I put it in her belly and pressed it till I killed her. Look how Muhammad, he was so happy, he says. Thereupon the Messenger of Allah said, O be witness, no retaliation is payable for her blood. We don't kill women. We don't kill women. We don't kill women. The women, she just said something about Muhammad. She don't believe in him. And here you notice, Muhammad, he did not need to investigate. What if the guy is lying? What if he killed her because of something else? Did there any witnesses? Did he ask him, do you have other people saying, I saw her, you know, speaking wrong about me? Just because he said she was insulting Muhammad, women have to be killed. Now, isn't it every non-believing woman insulting Muhammad? Yes. Isn't it every Jewish woman insulting Muhammad? Yes. Isn't it everyone who lost her husband by ISIS, by Al-Qaeda, peace be upon them, they are holy men of Allah, insulting Muhammad? Yes. Based on this, anyone who insults Muhammad should be killed. So when they say to you, baby killer, what if a child he insult Muhammad? We kill him too. What is the proof? We go to the Quran, to Muhammad yellow pages. This child, he did not insult Muhammad yet. He did not insult Allah yet. But according to the story, that this child, when he grew, he will insult. So what we do? We kill him before he grow. So Al-Khadr, he saw this person, a little child. And the translation here is a lie. They say young men. This is why you have to be careful when you read Islamic translation, because all of them, they are fraud in their translation. They never give you an honest translation. It is a little boy. See, Here we go. We just changed the thing. It became a translator. It became the meta boy. There's a huge difference between a young man and a little boy. Huge difference. And that's why they are playing, actually. So those kids, they were playing. One of them, Al-Khadr, he saw that he have something wrong with him. He have Allah, he told him, that this boy, when he grow, he will be a disbeliever. He will not be a good person. So what he did, and how he slaughtered him. Chapter 18, verse number 74. Let us see. Actually, there's an Indian, he called me in the other day, if you remember, and he said he studied this case very well, and he wanted to prove me wrong. He wanted what? To prove me wrong. Yeah, you can watch the video. So when they set out of their boat or ship, they walk in foot, and then they met a boy who had not yet reached puberty. This is the Muslim saying that, not me. Playing with other boys, among them who his face was the fairest. Al-Khadr, he slew him by slitting his throat with a knife while he lay down, or by tearing his head off with his hands, or by smashing his head against the wall. And they were making fun of you in Facebook, for their God said, kill them all. This guy is not even the son of the enemies. He's a son of a Muslim family. How we know that? You go just a few verses after, you will find that this is a Muslim boy from a Muslim family. In verse number 80. As for the boy, his parents were believers, and we feared lest that he should oppress them by rebellion and disbelief. So based in Islamic teaching, any little boy who we fear he will be a rebellion on this or disbeliever, we should kill him. Well, that's mean Muslim, they can kill all children. Because obviously, the one who grow in a household of a Christian, he will grow with the Christians, and he will learn from the Christian, and he will become a Christian usually. Same for the Muslims, same for the Hindus, whatever. So based on this verse in the Quran, any child, he might one day grow, and he come with this belief, he should be a target to be killed. Even if he is a Muslim child from a Muslim family, as we see in this case here. And this is explained again in the Islamic interpretation, in case the verse for you isn't clear. But I think the verse is so clear, there's no need for interpretation. But we can show you. Actually, the interpretation did not add too much. And as for the boy, his parents were believers, so they are Muslims. Okay. And we feared. I mean, can you believe it that we fear? Is not even sure. We feared. So you kill him just because you fear. Okay, so I walk in the street now and I see a kid, and I fear that this kid don't like him. I fear that this kid, he is going to be bad. I kill him from now without even doing anything wrong. Do you see the hypocrisy of this cult? But again, those Muhammadan, they play with you only if you are a toy. Which means anyone can direct you to different direction. Because of your ignorance, you are blind. Islam play only with our ignorance. And you know, Even if you do not know anything, shouldn't you say to them, yeah, we saw Islam is not about killing babies. Islam, we saw ISIS, we saw Al-Qaeda, we saw tons of videos. When the last time we saw a Jewish person slaughtering little kids? Or a Christian person? Actually, before we start today, Abdul, he posted this. He said, his name is Got It. I'm sure you got it. Christian Prince, Crusaders killed more Christians and Muslims and Jews and babies and female, old men, and or not any other religion. This is a big fat lie. And in fact, it is. The truth is that it was the Muslims who attack. There was no crusade for 600 years after Jesus. Did you ask yourself why? No crusade. The crusade was a war against the aggression of the Muhammad, not the opposite. It was you. And this is why your prophet, he says, attack the Romans so we can get the blondie girls. So it is you who attack them to take their women, and you rape their women, and you took their children as your slaves. It's not the crusade who attacked Muhammad. They never did. Don't let the media, which is involved with the Jewish too, because the Jewish, they hate the crusade too. It's a false media. It's a lie. If not the crusade, all of you in Europe, all of you in America, all of you in Australia, all of you in Canada will be Abdul by now. It was the crusade who saved this earth by their blood and their sacrifice. The Muslims always, they love to play victims. They go to Spain, and when you kick them from Spain, they say, do you know what the Spanish did to us? Why you went there? What about we ask you what you did to the Spanish? What about we ask you what you did to the Armenian, to the Assyrian, to the Greek, to the Romanian, to the Bulgarian, to the French? The Muslims almost took half of Europe, or not, maybe more, most of Europe. The word mafia, when the mafia, they come, you see them in the movie, they ask you to pay to protection. That is Islamic. The first time the mafia introduced to such a business, it was when the Muslims invade Europe and they forced the Christian to pay jizya for protection. And this is coming from the Quran, chapter 9, verse number 29. Pay or die. Do you want protection? And the funny is, you ask them protection from who? They say protection from us. Isn't it amazing when the thief, he played decent, and then the victim, he become the thief? This is Islam, my friend. Islam is a religion of thieves, gang, mafia. Pay, you live. And you have to pay, and we have to humiliate you, and we have to make fun of you, and we have to spit at your face. And the funny is that the kuffar are very bad, and every single Muslim desperately trying to go to Europe. If we open the border of England to every single Pakistani, how many Pakistani will stay in Pakistan? Zero. But yet this is the land of the kuffar. There is whiskey there. Or to other countries in Europe. They die to come to your land. Yet they claim that your land is dirty. The most hypocrite religion ever. And not to forget that this prophet, not only he raped women, even the ones who they are, Married. Can you believe it? You cannot do that in the Bible. Muhammad, he legalized raping women who they are married, and even the Muslim, they knew their husbands. Their husband used to be their friends. It's forbidden for you married women, except if they are your right hand possessed. Muhammad himself, one of the stories about Bani al-Mustaliq, or even Safiya, or Juriya, or whatever, I mean, he have tons of them. When he attacked them, he raped the woman who is a bride. Her husband just married her a day or two before. To the point, one of the Muhammadan, he have his sword waiting in the front of the tent while Muhammad is raping the women just in the front of her town. Muhammad in the morning, he wake up, he says, why you are here? He says, I was afraid that you killed her father and her brother and her husband, that she will kill you. He just killed her father, her brothers, her husband, and she was a bride. And he just raped her. In the same day, he killed all her family. Can you believe how filthy this man is? And let me show you the reference so they will not say, oh, he's making things up. And let's find it. You see, when the Muslims they you know, they speak about dignity and you know, they are against killing, my friend. Muslims, they are very, you know. Yeah. And by the way, this woman, after he killed her father and her brother and her brothers and her sister and her husband, according to Muslims, she was in love with Muhammad. Let's see. Hold on. I'm just trying to find you an official reference. I don't want to just show any website. I want to find an official reference. Right, let's see this one here. All right, we found an official website. The history of the city of Damascus, Ibn Asakir, volume number 16, page number 46. Here it says that when Muhammad, he took this woman to his tent, a man, his name Abu Ayyub, he took his sword and he was standing next to the tent. Muhammad, when he saw him in the morning, he said to him, what are you doing here? He said, oh, Messenger of Allah, She was just married. She just get married. She's a bride. And you killed her father and her brother and her husband. And I was not sure of your safety with her. So Rasulullah, look at the filthy animal. Look at the disgusting creature. Do you see the mercy? He just killed her father, her husband. She is a bride. Not only she is married, she just get married. In the morning, after Muhammad, he raped this woman, Abu Ayyub was at the door of the Prophet's tent. He stood there all night. And when it was morning, he saw the Messenger of Allah coming out. Allah Messenger said to him, he was standing with his sword. He said, what are you doing here? So he said, oh Messenger of Allah, she was a young girl who had recently had a wedding. And you had killed her, you, not I. And you killed her father, her brother, her husband. So I was worried about your safety. The Messenger of Allah was laughing loudly. Do you see how nice Muhammad is? Imagine somebody, he kill you, and you are a husband of a bride, you just get married yesterday, and he kill her brother and her father, and he rape her in the same day. The same day, not the same year. Do you see how merciful he is? Do you see how filthy this scumbag is? Let me see if I can share the link with you, otherwise I'm going to shorten it. I think I should shorten it because it have Arabic text. And you can do the same. You can just use, Google translation, even though you don't speak Arabic. And by the way, this story exists everywhere. It's not like only one place. All right, here we go. Let us post the link for you. A Muhammadan is the last one who can speak to you about mercy, about what is right, about what is good. This person is very filthy. Even his own son, wife, he took her from him. Even his own son. He went to the house, he flirted with the wife when the husband is not there. And then he forced the husband to give her to him. And the Muslim, they claim that the guy, he went to the Prophet, said to him, I don't want to divorce her. I want to divorce her because she is bad. So if you hold on, if she become bad after your father flirt with her. She just told him that your father was here flirting with me. Obviously, the woman, she is a whore too. She's sleeping with his father already. And now it's time to finish this relationship. She need to go to the house of the boyfriend. In Islam, they say to you, we are against killing babies, but we support raping them. In the book of Tahrir al-Wasila, as an example, you can have sex without intercourse with an infant. Actually, there's a debate between me and a Muslim, and he said to me, so what's wrong with that? And he said, well, this is what, this is what I am allowed to do, but I did not do that. This is what I am allowed to do. Tahrir al-Wasila, volume number 2, page number 241. And they will say to you, this is Shia. Well, Shia or Sunni, doesn't matter. Well, isn't it Muhammad, he married a child, she is 6 years old, and his name is Aisha. Is that in the book of the Shia? Here it says, issue number 12. It's not allowed to do intercourse for the wife before, this is the Shia, remember. before she complete 9 years old. Supposing now they are 9 years old. Now we can F her. If the effing was continue or from time to time. However, all other sexual enjoyment, like touch with desire, like hugs, or to put your private part between her legs, there's no problem with it. Even if she was an infant. Even if she was an infant, and let me translate for you in English in the front of your eyes. Even if she was an infant. Can you believe how filthy this religion is? As for all other pleasure, such as touching with desire, cuddling, and thining between your private part between her legs, nothing wrong with it. Even if the female was an infant. The morality of Muslims is so good in Facebook. The morality of Muslims in their books is disgusting. In Facebook, they are moral. In their books, it's a scam. In chapter 65, verse number 4, the chapter of divorce, where it's a chapter is telling you how to divorce little children. How what? How to divorce little children who they never have their period yet. (65:4). And maybe Christian Prince is not telling the truth. Let us go and see the interpretation. Because they will say to you, it doesn't say that, CP. You know the scenario. You can read any interpretation you want. This is a Jalalain. This is the cousin of Muhammad, which is way higher than a Jalalain. It says here, and those divorcing those who they are waiting for period, or those who did not have menstruation because they are too young. We are talking about divorcing now, not marriage. So in the time of divorce, they are too young. When the time of marriage, they are what? They are infant. If in the time of divorce, they are too young to have their menstruation, in the time of marriage, what their age was. So my friends, I hope we cover all those topics. I was trying to make my video short as I can, and this is the shortest I can make it to cover many things. But as you see, those hypocrites, they praise the same story in the Old Testament. Remember Muhammad himself, he put his hand over the same book they are making fun of. And this is actually the shortest answer you came to Abdul. I want you to save this hadith. If those stories exist in the Old Testament, and if they are bad, so why Muhammad, he said, he put his hand on it in the Torah, and he said, I believe in thee and the one who sent thee. How come Muhammad, he say, I believe in thee? The Muslims, they say, we don't believe in thee. The Muhammadan, they try to make fun of you because they guarantee in their mind that you are an ignorant, you do not know how to answer them. And even when they say, your book is corrupted, we go to the Quran, we find that our book is confirmed. How come every Muslim in YouTube, he say, our book is corrupted? Their book says it's not. Look how many verses. I can show you tons of verses. All of them saying, no, we approve what they have with them. As an example, chapter 2, verse number 89. And confirming what is with them. The Quran confirm what is with us. But in Facebook, Quran don't confirm what is with us. In their book, Quran confirm what is with us. My friend, the Chinese, they said he left as a donkey. He never came back as a horse. Now, I guarantee you, the Chinese, when they said that at that time, they do not know about Muhammad. But Muhammad was included. And actually, donkey is way better than such a man. And by the way, Muhammad had a donkey who converted to Islam. And not only that, the first one who committed suicide in the history of Islam was his donkey. The first one who committed suicide in the history of Islam, it was the donkey of Muhammad. Who Muhammad, he claimed that this donkey was one of 60 donkeys. Allah created them so nobody can ride them except Prophet. And when Muhammad, he spoke to his donkey, Yafur, he asked him, do you like females? And the donkey was gay. He said, no, no. He was so hurt with the question because he don't like females. And then when the Prophet died, the donkey, he got so sad and he threw himself in a dry well of water. I wonder how many they will do that, like that donkey. They will. Thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to download the videos, take notes, learn, educate yourself, so no fool can fool you. And if a fool can fool you, how foolish are you? God bless you. Christ is Lord. Islam made by a dummy for a dummy. We prove it every day. Thank you.
But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned. If this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.